Hi, I'm Tom at the Awakened Heart Center for Conscious Living, and I've been teaching a long time, been teaching conscious living a long time, yoga, meditation, and related subjects. And throughout the years, I've used one pointer, one teaching story. I leave it and try to find more interesting, sophisticated allegories, but I keep coming back to it time and time again. And one of the reasons I come back to it time and time again is because people get it. And you can see their eyes. They suddenly light up. And something shifts, something changes. And then later on you hear them sharing the same story because it's a very simple allegory. As human beings, sooner or later we experience suffering in our life and unhappiness, and things aren't going the way we'd hoped they would. And whatever may cause that suffering or unhappiness, if a person is somewhat intelligent and aware, they start asking the questions of life, such as, what are we doing here? Where did we come from? What's going on? Why is there suffering? What am I? And the question, what am I, is the most important question, because if you really look at life, everything's predicated, no matter what's going on, it's predicated on you being there. So one of the first things to notice is that without you, nothing exists. Everything that happens, everything we know, everything that you experience or hear about or imagine is predicated on you being there. If you're not here, nothing else is. You have to notice that. One of the experiments to do is when you go to sleep at night, in deep sleep, you're not there, nothing's there. No problems are there, it's just the dazzling darkness. So, what am I? And this is a good question. Now, in our relative sense, when we ask the question, what am I, we look for answers in other relative things. We look in books, we go to teachers, we seek among the relative. And by the relative, I mean those things that show up in our life. Objects, people, places, things. You know, the things that we experience with our five senses. That's what I mean by the relative. So we seek for our answers in the relative. We go to universities, we study philosophy, we study theology, we study science, whatever it is. But all of these things ultimately are about relative truths. And that's good because all our mind can understand is relative truths. But no relative truth, belief, concept, experience, knowledge is ultimately satisfying. We still wake up in the middle of the night with that existential angst going, what the hell's going on? And again, who am I? Or what I hear more often is, what's going to happen to me? So this allegory is a pointer. It's not something to believe. It's pointing at something that you can actually discover through inquiry, through meditation, through contemplation. You can discover the truth of this allegory. So it's not something, it's not a philosophical position. But human beings have two natures. We have a relative nature and we have an absolute nature. Knowing our relative nature, one of the things we discover is it's transitory. And everything we experience in the relative is transitory. This makes us a little nervous because things appear, they hang out for a while, and they disappear, including what we think we are. Our body, our mind, our personality, our soul, whatever it is, keeps changing, keeps disappearing. So it makes us nervous. What am I really? Looking that way, you find the relative, the 10,000 things. Go back to what am I am, go back the way you came, and you'll discover the vastness of your being that's unborn, that's deathless. It's not predicated on anything at all. So the allegory is the ocean and the waves. We're waves. We come up and we look around and we notice all these other waves, and some of them are disappearing and some of them are appearing. You know, they're born, they die, they hang out. Some waves are bigger, some waves are richer, some waves are better looking. And we're out there looking at waves, and then a wave comes around and goes, what am I? And waves get together and they go looking for their true nature. What they don't see is the huge thrust of their beingness comes from an ocean, the ocean. It is infinite, eternal, unborn, and deathless. That every wave is an expression of the ocean and is the ocean. So the wave, in its relative nature, has to be able to step out of its identity as a wave. It doesn't mean you have to stop being a wave. It's not up to you whether you're a wave or not. But you have to be able to relax. And as you relax, as you look at what am I, the I am, the one thing that everything's predicated on, you can slip back into the ocean, which is always here, always present. It's living you right now. It's the ocean that's giving you the ability to hear my words, to see my face. It's the ocean living you. You're the wave in the ocean, but the wave and the ocean are not two different things. The waves are an expression of the ocean, but you're always the ocean. So people go, do I return to the ocean when I die? No, you don't return to the ocean when you die. You've never left the ocean. Nothing really happens when so-called death happens. We see other waves disappearing, but all they're doing is returning to their true unborn nature, which they have never left. So this is so important, not to believe, but through inquiry, investigation, looking at what am I? What is this that's prior to any thought, any experience, that knows all thought, all feeling, all experience? What is this? To not come up with an intellectual answer, but literally dive back through the door of the I am. Go from the relative back into the absolute. It's not, it's what's living you. It's very simple. It's stillness. It's silent. When you know your absolute nature, that you are the ocean, then you enjoy being a wave. The fears, the greed, the tensions, the struggles of being a wave disappear. They disappear for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is you realize fully and completely that the you are is being done by the ocean, not by you. The ocean is living all of the waves. Whatever way the wave shows up, that's the ocean living it. What's the purpose of life? The ocean's living that purpose. The purpose of life is this right here, right now. This is the purpose of life. This is the ocean living you. This is the expression of the absolute. You as a wave, as a relative wave, are the absolute expressing itself. So this is why I like this allegory. I keep coming back to it because it's very simple and it really hits home for people. And so what happens, people go, well, I have to meditate in Zendo for 40 years, and I did all that. I did all the stuff. So much of spiritual practice is based on the premise that the wave is separate from the ocean, and it's got to return to the ocean. What's so important is to realize nothing has to happen. It's already true. And in that relaxing, you feel the ocean. It's right here. It's never been anywhere else. So you don't have to try. And we're blessed with the secret answer every 24 hours. It's like God, the ocean, whatever you want to call it, gives you a hint every day. You go back to the ocean every night in deep sleep. You, the awareness that's up in the wave, sinks back into the ocean. No problems, nobody, no you, no others, no Democrats, no Republicans, no Christians, no Buddhists, just, as I said before, the dazzling darkness. And then you wake up in the morning and you're away again. And you go, oh, all my problems, all this stuff, you're not doing any of it. Your ability to worry and think is the ocean moving through you. Your identity is the ocean moving through you. If you have a huge, arrogant, self-centered, narcissistic ego, that's the ocean moving through you. If you are the most peaceful, loving person, that's the ocean moving through you. There's only ocean, and it has the appearance of billions, unlimited waves, forms. The last thing I want to say is, in certain traditions, it's said that the waves are an illusion. Illusion means they don't exist. But that's not really true, because they do exist. They are the ocean. They're not separate from the ocean. They're not other than the ocean. The only Maya or illusion is the wave somehow believing it has to find the ocean and it's separate from the ocean. That's all Maya is the idea that actual separation can ever happen. It can happen. It never has happened. It's not happening now. You are the ocean, and in your delight of being the ocean, you've become a wave. Thank you.